The barrage began early this morning as Croat troops launched their most intensive attack against Muslims in Gornji Vakuf. In between the firefight sat the British Army, on a state of red alert and ordered into bunkers. At breakfast time, when the kitchens and canteen would normally have been busy, the cookhouse took a direct hit from a 120mm mortar. It wrecked the building, but everyone had been moved to safety and there were no casualties. The unprecedented step to evacuate 2/3 of the base was taken in the late morning when it was realized that the battle would be a long one. Only essential troops, about 60, were left at the camp.
We are relatively secure here now. We've evacuated 2/3 of the base to a more secure area. We'll just sit out the present fighting and see what happens.
The rest have been moved to a ridge 10 miles from the town, where they will spend the night in the open. They've been joined by dozens of refugees who walked out frightened for their lives.
I read an interesting report today. An individual was talking about the election and how it's perceived in the public and in the media. The individual made some very good points. Since August the 1st, there's been over 500,000 people to attend Trump rallies. There's been 31,000 to attend Hillary Clinton's rallies. The mainstream media wants us to believe that Trump is going to lose this election, that he's going to lose this election by a landslide. All over the place, everywhere you go, you do not see Hillary signs. You see Trump make America great again, signs, flags, bumper stickers. It's written on the sides of people's barns. Truckers are flying it all over the country. You're not seeing this with Hillary. With the Brexit, which was the vote for the UN to leave the EU, 95% of all politicians, analysts, everybody said this was not going to happen, but it happened. I think the same thing is going to happen here in the United States with the populist vote is going to go to Trump. I personally think Trump's going to win by a double digit on the percentage. The electorals, though, are going to be how the Democrats are going to try to cheat their way in, along with rigged polls, illegal voters that have been given the right to vote by Obama. But the majority vote, I believe, is going to go to Trump. When this happens, I believe, like I said, that they're going to try to steal it with the electoral. Trump's not going to submit. Trump's not going to give in, but he's also not going to be able to win the fight without support from the American people. When this happens, in order to ensure that Trump gets to where he needs to be, I had a discussion earlier, and it makes sense. If you're a trucker, stop your truck, block the roads, surround the police departments, not to do any harm to the officers in any way whatsoever, but prevent them from having an opportunity to intervene. If you're a pilot, land your plane, shut it down. If you drive a train, stop your train on the tracks and shut it down. Whatever you do in this country, put everything on hold. No shot will ever have to be fired. No lives will have to be taken. No blood will have to be shed. But it'll be a very clear message to the government, to the elites that think they're in charge, that we're finished. We're finished with the games. We're finished with the rigged elections. We're finished with the electorals. This country belongs to the American people. The American people have been enslaved by this government, and specifically the last 8 years of the Obama regime. Completely and totally enslaved and brainwashed. With Common Core, the government has now made it official that they will determine what our children see and what our children don't see. It's not just the Common Core math that people talk about. Go look at Common Core history and look at what your children are allowed to see and what they're not allowed to see. Look at Nazi Germany and what Hitler did with the children. He didn't do everything overnight. He didn't do everything in a day. He did it over time. He did it strategically. The children were brainwashed and they followed his path. Today in our country, the same thing is happening to our children. They're being brainwashed. If we don't make a stand now, it doesn't matter how anything goes in this country. It doesn't matter how this election turns out. If we do not make a stand today and put things back on the right track, in 25 years, you'll definitely have no chance, because your children are going to be brainwashed in thinking that what the Democrats, and not just the Democrats, what the political elite, their agenda, they're going to instill in your children. 25 years from now, your children will be the ones to vote. If you don't lose your guns today, whatever rights you hold on to, you're going to lose them then. It's time for every man and woman in this country to stand up and stop. Stop everything. Every single thing in this country. If you're a bank teller, if you're a cashier at Winn-Dixie, if you are a police officer, pilot, train engineer, trucker, whatever it is that you do in your everyday life, if the majority vote says Trump wins, and they try to steal it, shut this country down. They can't do anything to stop it, and they'll have no choice. They'll be forced to recognize what the people want. If you're listening in here from another channel, spread it to your channel. Hell, I'll come and tell it to your channel. This is how we make a stand, like I said, and not have to fire a shot. And if they push the issue beyond that point, then stand up with your guns. Do whatever you can do to make this a peaceful transition so that justice is served and the people's voice is heard. Do everything possible to make sure this is a peaceful stand. If the people of this country don't stand up, like I said, whatever you think you may hold on to today, in 25 years, your children will be brainwashed to take it away from you. So in 25 years, do you want to stand against your children, or do you want to stand together today?